Uh, Hello everyone. Today we have to discuss about blood composition and various component, cellular component and non-cellular component of blood. These are the learning objective of today lecture. To know about composition of blood, to understand cellular component and non-cellular component of blood, and to know about the property and function of various component of blood. So, first of all, we have to discuss something about blood. As we know that blood is the river of life that surge within us and transporting nearly everything that must be carried from one place to another. And long before modern medicine, blood was viewed as magical. Okay, and in this lecture, we have to discuss about the composition and function of this life-sustaining fluid that serve as a transport vehicle for the organs of the cardiovascular system. And to get started, we need a brief overview of blood circulation that initiated by the pumping action of the heart, and blood exists in the heart via arteries which branch repeatedly until they become tiny capillaries. Okay, so so first of all, uh, we have to discuss about the general discussion about blood. Is we know that blood is the only fluid tissue in the body, and it appears to be a thick, homogeneous liquid. But the microscope revealed that blood has both cellular component as well as liquid component. Okay, and blood is a specialized type of connective tissue in which living blood cells called the formed element are suspended in a non-living fluid matrix called plasma. Okay? And the uh, collagen and elastic fiber typically of other connective tissue are absent from blood, but dissolved fibrous protein become visible as a fibrin strand during blood clotting. Okay? If we spill a sample of blood in a centrifuge, the heavier formed elements are packed down by centrifugal force, and the less dense part is separated as a supernatant, which is called plasma, and most of the reduced mass at the bottom of the tube is erythrocytes. Okay, and the red blood cells that transport oxygen in the body, and a thin within whitish layer called the buffy coat is present in the erythrocyte plasma junction. This layer contains leukocytes and the white blood cells that act in various ways to protect the body, and platelets, cell fragment that help stop bleeding. Okay, and generally blood is a sticky, opaque fluid with a characteristic metallic taste. As children, we discover its saltiness the first time we stick a cut finger into our mouth, and depending on the amount of oxygen it is carrying, the color of blood varies from scarlet to dark red. Okay, and blood is more dense than water and about 5 times more viscous, and largely because of its formed element. And blood is slightly alkaline with the pH around 7.35 to 7.45, and its temperature around 38 degree. Okay, and is always slightly higher than body temperature. And blood account for approximately 8% of the body weight, and its average volume in healthy adult males is 5 to 6 liter approx, and somewhat greater than in a healthy adult females that has 4 to 5 liter blood. Okay, and and if we talk about the functions, so blood perform a variety of functions that are concerned in one way or another with distributing substances, regulating blood levels of particular substances, or protecting the body. Okay, and some more function like delivering oxygen from the lungs and nutrients from the digestive tract to all body cells and transporting metabolic waste products from cells to elimination sites to the lungs for elimination of carbon dioxide and to the kidney for disposal of nitrogenous waste in the urine and transporting hormone from the endocrine organ to their target organs. There is a variety of function blood has, and like maintaining appropriate body temperature by absorbing and distributing heat throughout the body and to the skin surface to encourage heat loss and maintaining normal pH in the body tissue and many blood proteins and other blood-borne solute act as buffer to prevent excessive or abrupt changes in blood pH that could jeopardize normal cell activities. And additionally, blood acts as a reservoir for the body alkaline reserve of bicarbonate atoms and blood maintaining adequate fluid volume in the circulatory system and salt like sodium chloride and blood proteins act it's prevent excessive fluid loss from the bloodstream into the tissue space. As a result, the fluid volume from the bloodstream into the tissue space. As a result, the fluid volume in the blood vessel is remain ample to support efficient blood circulation to all parts of the body. Okay, and apart from that, it preventing blood loss when a blood vessel is damaged. Platelets and plasma proteins initiate clot formation and halting blood loss, and it also preventing infection and directing along in blood are antibodies and complement protein and white blood cells, all of which help defend the body against various types of antigen or bacteria or virus. Okay, so that's why it has three major function: transportation, or regulation, or protection. Okay, so these are the three major function of blood. Okay, and blood divided into the two major constituents: the cellular components and non-cellular component. Okay, and cellular component include erythrocyte and white blood cells, okay, leukocyte, and all the cellular component comes under the cellular composition, and the non-cellular composition is also there. So that the dissolved substance which present in the blood comes under the non-cellular component like plasma and has a various dissolved component. Okay, so first of all, we have to discuss about blood plasma. So, blood plasma is a straw-colored sticky fluid, and although it is mostly water, approximately 90% of blood plasma made up of water, and plasma contains over 100 different dissolved solids, including nutrients, gases, hormones, wastes, and product of cell activities, ions, various types of proteins. Okay, and plasma proteins are the most abundant plasma solute, accounting for about 8% by weight of plasma volume, and except for hormone and gamma globulin, most plasma proteins are produced by the liver. And plasma proteins serve as a variety of functions, but they are not taken up by cells to be used as a fuel or metabolic nutrients as are most other plasma solutes such as glucose, fatty acid, and amino acids. Okay? And albumin account for approximately 60% of the plasma proteins. Okay? And albumin act as a carrier to shuttle certain molecules through out the circulation, which is a important blood buffer and is a major blood protein contributing to the plasma osmotic pressure. Okay, that plasma osmotic pressure, which is the pressure that helps to keep water in the bloodstream. and maintain osmoregulation regulation. And sodium ion are the other major solute contributing to the blood osmotic pressure. And the makeup of plasma varies continuously as cells remove or add substances to the blood. However, assuming a healthy diet, plasma composition is kept relatively constant by various homeostatic mechanisms. Okay, so when a blood protein level drop undesirably, the liver makes more protein, and when the blood start to become too acidic, so both the respiratory system and the kidney are come into the scene, and they restore plasma normal slightly alkaline pH body organ makes dozen of adjustment which is called homeostasis, which is maintain the many plasma solute is at life sustaining level. Okay? And the cellular component include these are the various cellular components. Okay, like RBC, WBC, platelets. Okay, and WBC again are two types: granulocyte and agranulocyte. And granulocyte again divided into the neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. And agranulocyte again divided into the monocyte and lymphocyte. Okay, so these are the three major cellular components. So first of all, we have to discuss erythrocyte. Okay. So erythrocytes, also called RBC or red blood cells, that are small cells about 7.5 micrometer in diameter and shaped like biconcave disc and flattened disc with a depressed center, and they appear lighter in color at their thin center than at their edges. And consequently erythrocytes look like miniature dough-nuts when viewed with a microscope, and mature erythrocytes are bound by plasma, okay, membrane, but lack a nucleus. So they are anucleate cells and have essentially no organelles, and they are little more than bags of hemoglobin. The RBC proteins that function in gas, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen transport, and other proteins are present such as antioxidant enzyme that rid the body of harmful oxygen radicals, but most function mainly to maintain the plasma membrane or promote changes in RBC shape. So the biconcave shape of an erythrocyte is maintained by a network of proteins, especially one called spectrin. And spectrin protein attached to the cytoplasmic phase of its plasma membrane, and the spectrin net is deformable, giving erythrocyte flexibility to change their shape as needed, and become cup shape, and they are carried passively through capillaries with diameter smaller than themselves, and then to resume their biconcave shape. And the erythrocyte is a super example of complementarity of structure and function. It picks up oxygen in the capillary beds of the lungs and release it to the tissue cells across other capillaries throughout the body, and it also transports 20% of the carbon dioxide released by tissue cells back to the lungs, and three structure characteristics continue to the erythrocyte gas transport function, like its small size and biconcave shape provide a huge surface area to volume ratio, about 30% more surface area than a comparable spherical cell, and the concave disk shape is ideally suited for gas exchange because no point wherein the cytoplasm is far from the surface, and discounting water content, and erythrocyte is over 97% hemoglobin, and the molecule that bind to and transport respiratory gases because erythrocytes make mitochondria and generate ATP by anaerobic mechanism. They do not consume any of the oxygen and they are transporting, making them very efficient oxygen transporter. Okay. And erythrocytes are the major factor contributing to the blood viscosity, and women typically have lower RBC count than a man. Okay, and when the number of RBC increase beyond the normal range, blood viscosity rise and blood flow more slowly. Similarly, as the number of RBC drop below the lower end of the range, the blood thin and flow more rapidly. And if we talk about the function, so erythrocytes are completely dedicated to their job of transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide, and hemoglobin, the protein that makes RBC bind easily and reversibly with oxygen, and most oxygen carried in the blood is bound to form with the hemoglobin. And normal value for hemoglobin are approximately 14 to 20 gram per 100 milliliter of blood. Uh, Okay, and hemoglobin is made up of proteins, globin bound to the red heme pigment, and globin consists of four polypeptide chains, two alpha chain and two beta chain, and each binding adding like a structure. And each heme group bears an atom of iron set like a jewel in its center, and a hemoglobin molecule can transport four molecules of oxygen because each iron atom can combine reversibly with one molecule of oxygen. And a single RBC cell contains about 250 million hemoglobin molecules. So each of these tiny cells can scoop up about 1 billion molecules of oxygen. So the fact that hemoglobin is contained in erythrocytes rather than existing freely in plasma, that prevent it from breaking into fragments that would leak out of the bloodstream throughout the porous capillary network, from the contributing to the blood viscosity and osmotic pressure. And oxygen loading occur in the lungs, and the direction of the transport is from lungs to the tissue cells. And oxygen deficient blood move through the lungs. Oxygen diffuse from the air sac of the lungs into the blood and then into the erythrocyte where it binds to the hemoglobin. And when oxygen binds to the iron, the hemoglobin now called oxyhemoglobin and assume a new three-dimensional shape and become UV red in the tissue. The process is reversed and oxygen detaches from iron and hemoglobin resumes its former shape, and the resulting deoxyhemoglobin or reduced homoglobin become dark red, and the released oxygen diffuse from the blood into the tissue fluid and then into the tissue cells, and approximately 20% of the carbon dioxide transported in the blood combined with hemoglobin, but it binds to globin amino acid rather than the heme group. This formation of carba-aminohemoglobin occurs more readily when hemoglobin is in the reduced state, and carbon dioxide loading occurs in the tissue, and the direction of the transport is from tissue to lung, where carbon dioxide is eliminated from the body. And this is all about the erythrocyte. Okay. And now we have to discuss about white blood cells. Okay, these are the two major kinds of white blood cells: granulocyte and agranulocyte. Okay, and granulocyte again divided into the neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Okay, so these are the granulocyte, neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Okay, so we have to discuss one by one about the WBC. Okay, so white blood cells, also called leukocytes, okay, are the only formed element that are complete cells with nuclei and the usual organelles. So, accounting for less than 1% of the total blood volume, and leukocytes are far less numerous than red blood cells. On average, there are approx 4,800 to 10,800 WBC per microliter of blood found. And leukocytes are crucial to our defense system against various diseases, and they form a mobile army that help protect the body from damage by bacteria, virus, and parasites, toxins, and tumor cells. As such, they have some special functional characteristics. So RBC are confined to the bloodstream and they carry out the function in the blood, but WBC are able to slip out of the capillaries, blood vessels, which is a process called diapedesis. And the circulatory system is simply their means of transport to area of body, and mostly loose connective tissue or lymphoid tissue, where they are needed to mount inflammatory or immune response. Okay, so that's why whenever WBC are mobilized for action, the body speed up their production and twice the normal number may appear in the blood within a few hours. And a WBC count over 11,000 cells per microliter is leukocytosis. And this condition is a normal homeostatic response to an infection in the body. And leukocytes are grouped into two major categories on the basis of structural and chemical characteristics. And granulocytes contain obvious membrane-bound cytoplasmic granules, and granulocytes lack obvious granule. And so this is all about WBC. And as we have to discuss here, they are divided into granulocyte and agranulocyte. Okay. So first we have to discuss about granulocyte. So the granulocyte, which include neutrophils, basophils, and eosinophils, are all roughly spherical in shape, and they are larger and much shorter lived and then erythrocyte. They characteristically have lobe nuclei, that is rounded nuclear mass connected by thinner strand of nuclear material, and their membrane-bound cytoplasmic granule stand quite specifically with right strands, and functionally all granulocytes are phagocytosis to a greater or lesser degree. Okay, so the first one is neutrophil. So neutrophils are the most numerous of the WBC, accounting for 50 to 70% of the WBC production. And neutrophils are about twice as large as erythrocytes. And the neutrophils cytoplasm stands pale, linear, and contains very fine granules that are difficult to observe. They are called neutrophils. Okay, because their granules take up both basic stand and acidic stand. Together, the two types of granules with the cytoplasm a linear color, and some of these granules contain hydrolytic enzymes and are regarded as lysosomes. Other, especially the smaller granules, contain a potent brew of antimicrobial proteins called defensins. Okay, and neutrophils nuclei consist of 3 to 6 lobes. Because of this nuclear variability, they are often called polymorphonuclear leukocytes, simply poly. Okay, and neutrophils are our body bacteria slayers, and their numbers increase explosively during the acute bacterial infections such as meningitis, appendicitis, and neutrophils are chemically attracted to site of inflammation and are active phagocytosis cells. They are especially partial to bacteria and some fungi, and bacterial killing is prompted by a process called respiratory rust. In the respiratory rust, oxygen is actively metabolized to produce potent germ killer oxidizing substances such as bleach and hydrogen peroxide, and defensin-mediated lysis occur. It appears that when the granules contain defensin are merged with a microbe containing phagosome, the defensin form peptide sphere that pierces holes in the membrane of ingested bacteria. Okay, and the second types of granulocyte is eosinophils. Okay, so eosinophils account for 2 to 4% of the all leukocyte and are approximately the size of neutrophils. And their deep red nucleus usually resemble an old-fashioned telephone receiver, and it has two lobes connected by a broad band of nuclear materials as seen in the figure, and large coarse granules that extend from brick red to crimson white acid dye packed to the cytoplasm. And these granules are lysosome-like and filled with a unique variety of digestive enzymes. However, typical lysosome they lack enzymes that specifically digest bacteria, and the most important role of eosinophils is to lead the counter-attack against parasitic worms such as flatworm, roundworm, that are too large to be phagocytized, and these worms are ingested in food or invade the body via the skin and then typically burrow into the intestinal or respiratory mucosa. And eosinophils reside in the loose connective tissue at the same body site, and when they encountered a parasitic worm, they gather around and release the enzymes from their cytoplasmic granule onto the parasite surface and digesting it away. And eosinophils have complex role in many other diseases, including allergy and asthma, and while they contribute to the tissue damage, they occur in many immune processes, and we are also beginning to recognize them as an important modulator of immune response. Okay, and third kind of granulocyte is basophils. So basophils are the rarest white blood cells and averaging only 0.5 to 1% of the total leukocyte count, and their cytoplasm contains large coarse histamine containing granules that have an affinity for the basic dye and stand purplish black color. And histamine is an inflammatory chemical that acts as a vasodilator and attack other WBC cells to inflame the site, and drug called antihistamines counter this effect. And the deep purple nucleus in generally U or S-shaped with one or two pecus constrictions, and granulated cells similar to basophils called mast cell are found in the connective tissue. And although mast cell nuclei tend to be more oval than lobed, and the cells are similar microscopically, and both cell types bind to a particular antibody that cause the cells to release histamine. However, they arise from different cell lines, and the agranulocyte. And these agranulocytes are two types: lymphocyte and monocyte. Okay. So the agranulocyte include lymphocyte and monocytes, and these WBC cells that lack visible cytoplasmic granules. That's why it is called agranulocytes. Although they are similar structurally, they are functionality distinct and unrelated cell type, and their nuclei are typically spherical or kidney shaped. Okay. So the first one is lymphocytes that accounting for 25% or more of the WBC population, and are the second most numerous lymphocytes in the blood. When stained, a typical lymphocyte has a large dark purple nucleus that occupied most of the cell volume, and the nucleus is usually spherical but maybe slightly indented, and it is surrounded by a thin ring of pale blue cytoplasm. And lymphocyte diameter ranges from 5 to 17 micrometer, but they are often classified according to size as small, 5 to 8 micrometer, medium that has size to 10 to 12 micrometer, and the large which has a size of 14 to 17 micrometer. And a large number of lymphocytes exist in the body, but only a small proportion of them are found in the bloodstream. In fact, lymphocytes are so called because most are closely associated with the lymphoid tissue, like lymph node, spleen, where they play a crucial role in immunity. And T lymphocyte, that is T cells, function in the immune response by acting directly against virus infected cells and human. And B lymphocytes give rise to plasma cells which produce antibodies that are released to the blood. Okay. And now monocytes, and these monocytes account for 3 to 8% of the WBC total count, and they have an average diameter of 18 micrometer and are the largest leukocytes, and they have abundant pale blue cytoplasm and a darkly staining nucleus, which is distinctly blue or kidney shaped. So when circulating monocytes leave the bloodstream and enter the tissue, they differentiate into highly mobile macrophages with prodigious appetites, and macrophages are actively phagocytic and they are crucial in the body defense against virus and certain intercellular bacterial parasites and chronic infections such as tuberculosis. Okay, and uh, erythrocyte production. The leukopoiesis is the process of production of WBC blood cell, which is stimulated by chemical messenger, and this messenger which can act either as paracrine or hormone or glycoproteins that falls into two families of hematopoietic factors like interleukins, colony stimulating factors. Okay, and the interleukins are like interleukin 3, interleukin 5, and colony stimulating factors are like CSF factor that stimulate production of granulocyte. Okay, and hematopoietic factor released by the supporting cells of the red bone marrow and mature WBC not only prompt the white blood cells precursor to divide and mature, but also enhance the protective potency of mature leukocytes, and many of the hematopoietic hormones are usually clinically to stimulate the bone marrow of cancer patients who are receiving chemotherapy and of those who receive stem cell transplant and to beef up the protective response of AIDS. Okay, now platelets. So platelets are not cells in the strict sense, although about one fourth of the diameter of lymphocyte, and they are cytoplasmic fragment of extraordinary large cells up to 60 micrometer in diameter, called megakaryocytes. And in blood smear, each platelets exhibit a blue staining outer region and an inner area containing granules that stain purple. And the granules contain a impressive array of chemicals that act in clotting process, including serotonin, calcium ion, and a variety of enzymes, ADP, and platelet-derived growth factor. And platelets are essential for the clotting process that occur in plasma. So when blood vessels are ruptured or their lining is injured by sticking to the damaged site, platelets form a temporary plug that helps seal the break. Okay, and platelet age quickly because they are anucleate and their regenerate is about 10 days if they are not involved in the clotting. And in the meantime, they circulate freely, keep mobile but active by molecules like nitric oxide, prostacyclin, secreted by the endothelial cells lining of the blood. And platelet formation is regulated by a hormone called thrombopoietin. And their immediate ancestral cells, the megakaryocytes and progeny of hematoblast and myeloid stem cells, but their formation of quite unusual. Okay. Now, now we have to discuss some question. Okay. Now you have to attempt quiz. Okay. So before attempting quiz, we have to discuss some process of formation formation of RBC. Okay, and the process of formation of RBC in the blood. Okay, so what is the process of RBC formation in the blood? Okay, so remember the name. This is called erythropoiesis. Okay, so now we have to discuss something about erythropoiesis. Okay, so blood cell formation is called hematopoiesis. Okay, and this process occur in the uh, red bone marrow. Okay, which is composed of largely of soft network of reticular connective tissue bordering on white blood capillaries called blood sinusoids. Okay, and within this network are immature blood cells and macrophages, fat cells, reticular cells are found, and in adults, red bone marrow is found chiefly in the bones of axial skeleton and girdles, and in the proximal epiphysis of the humerus and femur only. And each type of cells is produced in different numbers in response to changing body need or requirement and different regulatory factors. And as the blood cells mature, they migrate through the thin walls of sinusoids to enter the bloodstream. And on average, the bone marrow turns out an ounce of new blood containing some 100 billion new cells each and every day. And the various formed element have different function, but they are similarity in their life history. Okay, and all arise from the same type of stem cells called hematoblast or pluripotent hematopoietic stem cells, and they are undifferentiated precursor cells reside in the red bone marrow, and the maturation pathway of the various formed elements differ. However, uh, once a cell is committed to a specific blood cells pathway, cannot change. So this commitment is signaled by the appearance of membrane surface receptor that respond to specific hormone or growth factor. Okay, which in turn push the cells toward further specification. Okay, so erythroid production or erythropoiesis begins when a cytoblast descendant called a myeloid stem cells is transformed into pro-erythroblast cells. And pro-erythroblast in turn give rise to the early basophilic or erythroblast cell that produce huge number of ribosomes. During this first two phases, the cell divided many times, and hemoglobin is synthesized and iron accumulates as the early erythroblast is transformed into a late erythroblast and then normoblast. Okay, and the color of the cell cytoplasm changes as the blue staining ribosome become masked by the pink color of hemoglobin. When a normoblast has accumulated almost all of its hemoglobin, it ejects most of its organelle, and additionally its nuclear function and its nucleus degenerate and is pinched off, then allowing the cell to collapse inward and eventually assume the biconcave shape. Okay, so the radial is the reticulocyte, named because it still contains scant reticulum of clumped ribosome. So the entire process from hematocytoblast to reticulocyte takes around 15 days, and the reticulocytes are filled almost to bursting within hemoglobin that enter the bloodstream to begin their task of oxygen transport. Usually, they become fully mature erythrocyte within 2 days of release as their ribosomes are degraded by intracellular enzymes. And reticulocytes account for 1 to 2% of all erythrocytes in the blood of healthy people. Reticulocyte count provide enough index of rate of RBC production in human. Reticulocyte count below or above this percentage range indicate abnormal rate of erythrocyte formation. Okay? So these are the process by which the different types of RBC are formed in the blood. Okay. So now you have to attempt quiz, which is not a component of plasma. Okay. So as we have to discuss in this class, the glucose, electrolytes, colloids are the part of plasma. Okay. So the platelets are the part of cellular component of blood. Okay, and which is the most abundant protein in the blood. So protein has proteins like fibrinogen, globulins, albumin, but albumins are the dominant proteins that found in the blood. Okay, and which of the following are granulocytes, mast cell, lymphocyte, monocyte, reticulocyte? Okay. So as we have to discuss here, the lymphocyte and monocyte are the granulocyte. Okay. And transport and storage protein is called. Okay. So with fibrinogen, involved in the blood clotting. Albumin has another function. Okay, hormone has its own function. So the transport and storage protein is globin. Okay, globulins. And clotting protein in blood is fibrinogen, globulins, albumins, or hormone. Okay, as we have to discuss here, the fibrinogen involved in the blood coagulation or in the clotting. And percentage of formed element is called. Okay, as we have to discuss here, the percentage of formed element in the blood is called hematocrit. Okay, so thank you everyone.